Hi traders, this is David. So today is Sunday the 15th of December and I've finished analyzing most of the 28 currency pairs. So for the week of December 16th to 28th, I've decided to give you a rundown of setups that I see, and I've marked the ones that I personally want to trade, or at least I'll be looking at more proactively and seriously. But I'm going to give you the analysis of all the pairs I've been able to analyze. So let's get to it. Now, the first pair here is the EURCHF, and I'm just going to quickly go to the monthly and let's see what's going on. So based on what I'm seeing on the monthly chart, we seem to be at a level of support shown by this trend line here. So going to the weekly, this is what's going on. You can see there's a lot of activity here, and usually if this was a lower level chart like the 1 hour or the 4 hour, I would tell you to leave this alone for now, because this is noise. Okay, your analysis will not matter for anything here. You will get stopped out for no reason, because this is just traders not making up their minds. But this is the weekly chart, so you can still get some moves out of even this kind of move. So let's go to the daily chart, and on the daily chart you can see previously I made a video and I told you that we had a positive divergence here, so that means that our bias was long, but that's in the long term. All right, now price is in this ascending wedge. Okay, and usually an ascending wedge will push the market down, okay, eventually. But right now we are still in the ascending wedge on the daily chart, and so far the market seems to be respecting this lower trend line. Okay, so let's go to the 4-hour chart and see what we see. Now there's no clear-cut signal here, but what I will say is throughout this week you can keep your eye on this chart, and if the market respects this trend line, then what you'll be looking for is a wave bottom situation here. Okay, and the best way to get into this trade is if you get a wave bottom situation here and then you get a valid golden cross on the MACD like this, then you can actually go long. But for now, you should just watch this pair and don't really concentrate on trying to buy or sell. Okay, because you can see what's going on here. This will just knock you out for no reason. So let's go to the Euro USD now. Now I'll quickly go to the monthly and see what I see. So based on what I've been talking about for the past few weeks, the Euro USD is getting set for a bullish move. Okay, so I'm not going to explain all this again. You can watch previous videos and see what I was saying. So now, but what we can see on the weekly chart is we have a wave bottom situation here, and by plotting the profit target calculator or the APAC, you can see that we have price targets going to this place. Now you can see that for the past 3 weeks the trend has been bullish. Okay, so for now, in the long run or in the long term, you should think buy. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get sell trades, but there will be counter trends or counter trades, so you have to be careful. So let's go to the daily chart, and on the daily chart we can see more definition. You can see the last positive divergence that pushed this market up. So for now, with the golden cross on the MACD here, trend is up. Okay, so my advice for you is look at the euro closely this week, because you are going to get good moves going up. So now the best way to get into a trade on the euro now is taking a Fibonacci retracement from the last, or let's just call it the third wave. Okay, since this is divergence, then this will be the first wave, second wave, and then this is the third wave continuing, and it hasn't finished yet. Remember that the third wave is not the shortest wave, and so far this is looking as if the third wave and the first wave are the same. And another law in Elliott wave is if the first wave and the third wave are equal, then that means that the fifth wave will be the extended wave, because one of them has to be an extension. All right, so I'm looking at this, and so far the first wave is at 38 pips. Third wave is 164. So Well, it's actually longer than this. So there's a possibility that this could be the longest wave, and then the fifth wave will be shorter. But you can see that we have price targets going here. So for now, just think long. And this is what I did. So by taking the Fibonacci from here to this point, okay, being the third wave, our 62% region is here. I normally like the 55 a lot, okay, but this line that I drew here was based on me taking my Fibonacci retracement level from here, okay. Then that means that this is the 62%. So how will you get into this trade? This is how you are going to get into this trade. You can see that the MACD is just giving us a death cross here, so you are not going to be able to just go long yet. But once the market opens, what you will do is wait for a valid wave bottom situation on the 1 hour chart. Now that could happen here, that could happen here, it could even go slightly lower. So you are going to have to wait for the MACD to give you a golden cross. For those of you who don't know what a golden cross is, that means that the trigger line of the MACD will cross the MACD line, giving you something like this. Okay, so no matter what happens for the Euro USD, please wait for a golden cross and wait for a valid wave bottom situation, and then you can make very good profits here. Okay, so all you have to do is just to be patient and wait. So the Euro USD is definitely a must watch for you. Now let's go to the Euro Aussie pair, and based on I think I made a video of this, so you should check the library and see for about this. So let's just quickly run through this. So what's been going on is it seems to be in an uptrend, but it's rather anemic. But usually what happens in this kind of situation is that there will be a break in price, and I'm suspecting it's going to push up strongly soon. Now that's on the monthly. So on the weekly, this was going on, and so far the market is being respected. I mean, the trend or the market is respecting this support trend line. Okay, so what we are looking for is a very strong move here, preferably for the MACD to give us a golden cross on the weekly chart. Then we can confidently say that the upward trend has resumed. But for now, let's go to the daily chart and see. So you can see that there's a bounce here giving us what looks like a railroad track, but then the trend line is here. Okay, so this whole zone between the trend line and here, you can term that an area of support, so it can turn around at any moment. So another way of seeing how this move will work for you is by doing this. Okay, and you can see that the market is at the 62% retracement level of this upward move here. So it's actually a logical place for you to consider, but at the same time, it could go as low as the 79%. So you are going to have to keep your eye. You can see that I placed a trade last week, and I'm counting on it going up to my profit target. Okay, but then when the market opens, I will decide if I should stay in this trade to this point. But if the market decides it's going to go down, then I'll quickly close the trade and wait for a valid wave bottom situation in this region. So let's go to the 4-hour chart and see. So for now, this is what's going on. Okay, I saw this move last week, and I was able to make about 111 pips on 2 of my accounts here, and this is the third one. You can see that we had a valid wave bottom situation, 1, 2, and then 3, and I think this was caused by news. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see when the markets open. All right, so even if it does come down, then I will just wait for a valid wave bottom situation. So for now, the Euro Aussie, if you are not already in the trade like I am, you should just keep your eye on it and wait for a valid signal. Now let's go to the New Zealand US dollar. So quickly from the monthly chart, I had already analyzed this pair, so there's a lot of stuff here, and I'm not going to delete them. You are just going to have to bear with this. So but I'll quickly show you. So right now, after this positive divergence situation, you can see that for 3 months now, we've been in an uptrend. All right, now this is positive divergence happening here, and let me just go to the weekly chart. So I want to explain something about divergence. Normally, even without the price target calculator, when divergence happens like this, this move from here to here will be replicated here. So in this instance, this move moved 971 pips. So that means that this move is supposed to give us roughly 971 pips. And you can see I drew this bold line here to signify where I believe that the trend is going to go. All right. So now on the weekly chart, you can see that we already have a wave bottom situation here. So this is the first wave, second wave. So we're already in the third wave. Okay. But this trend line here is showing that there's a possibility that the market will be resisted here, and it will be. But the MACD just gave us the golden cross on the weekly, and it's very strong. It's trending very strongly. So I'm going to go to the daily chart and show you what I'm seeing. So long-term trend is up, all right? But we are going to have to be wary about this trend line. And you can see that already on the daily chart, we have what looks like an inverted hammer. And usually when you see a hammer bar, that's a reversal pattern after a run up or a run down. Okay, so what I'm thinking is that I'm going to keep my eye on this pair. Now, if I go lower, you will see that the market still has a little bit of potential to push up toward this trend line, and I'm going to do that right now. So already we can see that a positive divergence situation is negative divergence situation is beginning to form here on the 4-hour chart. But this trend line is here. So it's not just going to come down so easily. I believe that it will be resisted in this area and go up. And that's what I'm counting on. So for Monday/Tuesday, your bias will still be long. Now, the overall trend is bullish, going long, okay? But short term is bearish, and then shorter term is bullish, okay? Don't get confused. Down, let me explain. So assuming you are looking at it from the weekly chart or the monthly chart or the daily chart, your bias is to go long. So if you're a position trader, you are not even thinking short right now, okay? There's no reason to think short. You just close your eyes and let it go to where it wants to go to, all right? But if you are a swing trader or a day trader or an intraday trader, then you are going to have to watch these things, all right? So if I go lower to the 1-hour chart, this is what I see. And you can see that we had an incidence of negative divergence here, okay? Let me just point that out, like so. And that pushed the market down here. So now this line is actually the Fibonacci I took of this point to here. And you can see, okay, I think, all right. So maybe I need to move the line. Okay, so I've drawn the line exactly at the 62% area, and you can see it coincides with this trend line. So this is what's going to happen, okay? Keep your eye on this chart. If it gives you a valid wave bottom situation here and you get a golden cross, in other words, the MACD crosses and is going up, then go long here. But if it doesn't and keeps going down, then this is what happened. Because going to the daily chart, okay, if I take the Fibonacci level from here, which is the wave 3 of this daily chart move to where the market is currently, then our 62% level is here. All right. So that means if I go lower to the 4-hour chart, you will see that that means here. Okay. So now, like I told you, if it gives you a valid wave bottom situation here on the 1 hour, take this trade to this trend line. And then when you get a wave top situation coming down, you can take that trade down. And then your eye will be in this region for your first profit target and this region as your second profit target. All right. So you can see that we already have negative divergence forming here. So don't say that this thing is going to keep pushing up to the sky. It will not. Somewhere here, I don't know where exactly, it could push above this trend line. But definitely somewhere along this line is going to push back down. It may not come as low as any of these points because the overall trend is bullish. But definitely you are going to have a push down, okay? But for Monday, Tuesday, keep your eye on this point, okay? and see what happens. So just keep your eye on the New Zealand USD and don't make any rash decisions. So let's go to the Australian dollar, US dollar. I'll quickly go to the monthly chart and see what we see. Now, on the monthly chart, we have positive divergence, so let's not dwell on that. And then on the weekly, okay, we have wave bottom situation forming here already, and this is very good for us because if I were to make it larger, you will see that wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 just began. So this is a beautiful situation for you because all you have to do is just take your Fibonacci retracements and go long. All right, you can see how the market is respecting this trend line, okay, this resistance trend line. So let's go lower so you can see what's going on here. On the Aussie, the market is already respecting this trend line, so that's why I told you to be wary of that on the New Zealand US dollar. So now for this one, what I did was I have to go lower to show you anyway, but on the daily, you can see we have our golden cross here. We can see we have a beautiful wave bottom situation here. So aside from this big one, okay, I'm just going to delete this. We can just take the wave calculator on this smaller one on the daily chart, and it gives us price targets to this level. So let's just use this one. All right, now, but how are you going to get into this trade? Let's just go lower to the 4-hour chart. So you should keep your eye on the AUDUSD. This is a very good trade for you to go long. This one is I don't want to use the word no-brainer, but trust me, this is a trade that if you go in, your stop loss will be very small and you are going to smile all the way to the bank. Okay, all you have to do is just to be patient, right? So on the 4-hour chart, this is what I did. I took my Fibonacci from here. Okay, this line is this line. Let me show you why that line is there, so you will not get confused. Actually, that line is from here to here. Okay, so that's why I drew that line like so. All right, so because we operate with probabilities most of the time, not absolutes when you are trading. So now this line I just drew is the 62% if I take it from here. Okay, but if I take it from here, then the line is actually here. So what you will do is very simple. You already know what to look for when you are trading a wave top or a wave bottom situation. Now we are looking for a wave bottom situation, so you are not in a hurry to get into this trade, even though you know that the trend is to go long. So what you are going to do is wait on the 1-hour chart. Okay, don't even if this move is going to go down past this line and come here, please don't be deceived, because if it decides to turn around, it can turn around very sharply and take you out, except you are a scalp trader. Okay, if you are a scalper, then yes, you can actually go short here and make some sweet moves, but I believe that it's better to trade in the direction of the trend. So for me, if it decides to reverse here, I'm looking for a valid wave bottom situation, and then I'm waiting for the golden cross on the MACD. So here or here is fine by me, preferably here, because if it turns here, then I have the opportunity to make more profit. You can see that from this point to my first and second target will give me nothing less than 100 and something pips. So like I said, trading is all about being patient. And by the way, this move was presaged by negative divergence. Okay, I'll just show you that here, like so. So this is negative divergence, right? So that is why, let me just quickly go to the New Zealand. That is why I told you this New Zealand move, you should be wary of it. Okay, so let's just go back to the Aussie. So you can see that the major pairs are all trending in the same direction. Now this thing that is going on, that 4, 5, 6 currency pairs are doing the same thing. I made a recording of it, and you should check it in the playlist on the channel. Whenever 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs are doing the same thing, you have an opportunity to make a lot of money. I'm not going to explain that here. You have to go and watch the video. In that video, I talked about how I increased my account by 350% from $8,000 to $29,000 in just 2 days. And that's the phenomenon that is happening now on the major pairs. So if you want to know that technique, please check the video out and then learn it for yourself. So for the Australian dollar, US dollar, we are waiting for a wave bottom situation. Please don't rush yourself. Just wait patiently. If you don't know how to wait for a wave bottom, at least wait for a golden cross. Okay, get a valid golden cross like you are seeing here, and then you can enter with ease. And I believe that this move will give you a whole lot more than even 100 pips if you are willing to hang on. So let's go to the GBP now. And because the major pairs are all doing the same thing, so just know that your bias is long for now. But let's quickly go to the monthly and see what we see. You can see on the monthly chart we have our valid wave bottom situation here. On some charts it's actually positive divergence, okay, and on some charts it's wave bottom situation. So we have our number 1 point here, number 2, number 3, and so that means on the monthly chart the third wave just began. Now the good thing for the GBP is that it has passed this trend line, so we know that our bias is to go long. But anyway, let's go to the weekly chart and see. So on the weekly chart you can see it here. All right, so we already have this wave bottom situation that pushed the market to this level. Okay, so trend is strongly bullish. So let's go to the daily chart and see. Now this is what happened on the daily chart. You can see that the market pushed steeply and then respected the trend line and came back down. So for now the trend is up. MACD is crossed and just about to start trending strongly. All right, so let's go to the 4-hour chart. So on the 4-hour chart, this is what's going on. All right, you can see how the market gapped up here. I believe that there must have been some news. Yes, there was on Friday. I believe the British government, they were choosing the new prime minister, if I'm not mistaken. So apparently that is what created this situation here. All right, for those of you who were fortunate to be in it, you would have made a lot of money from here, because this move was about 400, you can see 460 something pips. So this was a very good move on Friday. All right, so for now the trend is strongly bullish. So how are you going to get into this trade? Well, on the 4-hour chart you can do this. Take the Fibonacci from here to this point. You can see I marked the 62% region. All right, that is that. Or you can take it from the daily chart. You can take it from the daily chart here, push to this point, and then you see this second line will be your 62%. So we are just going to keep our eye on this chart. So it's a watch and wait kind of game. Don't be in a hurry. You know that the trend is strongly bullish. All right, so anything you're looking for now is a wave bottom, preferably on the 1-hour chart. So this is the 1-hour chart. All right, so what I recommend is wait for a golden cross on MACD, wait for a wave bottom situation. So even if it turns here, no problem, and if it decides to turn here, no problem. However, I have to add this from here to here. Well, it's a lot of pips. This is almost 250 pips, and to this point is 103 pips. So there you can actually make some money here. But you see, you see how this move turned sharply. If you are going to look for a trade here, please do that perhaps on the 15-minute. And I don't think it's worth it, because your heart is going to be in your throat. Okay, that means you are going to have to watch this pair like a hawk. You are not going to take your eyes away from it. And I personally, I want to be relaxed when I trade. I prefer to do swing trading. All right, so I would rather wait for a good situation to buy, and then I can just leave my system and not have to worry about that trade for a couple of days. Okay, so the major pairs are worth watching this new week of 16th to 20th. All right, now let's go to the USD CAD. Going to the monthly chart. Already on the monthly chart, you can see that we are in the 4th wave of this bullish move. So let's go to the weekly, and on the weekly, this is what's going on. We seem to be in a channel. and I already marked the bottom of this channel. Okay, you can call it a channel, you can call it a symmetrical triangle, it doesn't matter. All right, so but for now you can see that we are strongly bearish, okay, for 3 weeks now. So the possibility of the market going down is very strong. After all, the GBP, the euro, they are all strongly bullish, so it makes sense for the USD CAD to be bearish. That means that the dollar is actually quite weak right now against the major pairs. All right, so on the daily chart you can see that we had this move here, and I calculated this last week. I'll just delete the calculations. Okay, it's not there. All right, so we had a wave top situation here that gives us price targets to this region. You can see so far it's already fulfilled 3 targets, okay, with 3 more to go. So of course the trend is down for now. All right, but by going to the 4-hour chart, we have let me just delete this calculation so that you can see what I'm saying. On the 4-hour chart, we have an incidence of positive divergence here. All right, so be wary of this. Now I don't know if it has the power to push up to these levels, so what I did was I marked the lines, the places where the possibility of the market turning will be. This first line, this one, I think this one, I took the retracement from here to this point, and you can see that's a 62%. Okay, so then the second one, I took it from the, was it here or the third wave? I think the third wave here, and you can see I marked that as well. So because the trend is strongly bearish, I'm not going to be sucked into this particular divergence. I love trading divergence, I do, but the trend is bearish. Okay, so why not just wait to get a valid wave top situation? So I propose waiting somewhere between here and here. I believe that the market will give you a valid wave top situation, something like this, and then you can enter with peace of mind. So for the USD CAD, watch and wait, and if you are not certain, then wait for this trend line to be broken, this 4-hour trend line, and if it's broken, then you can enter with confidence. So for the USD CAD, just keep your eye on it, okay, and wait, don't be in a hurry. Now the next currency pair is the USDCHF, and by going to the monthly chart, you can see how quiet the market is here. Let's go to the weekly, and on the weekly you can see it's doing almost the same thing as the USD CAD. Okay, so for 2 weeks now we've had a strongly bearish run. So the next area of support will be here, and that's about 128 pips. Okay, so going to the daily chart now, for me, I believe that this one is a watch and wait kind of thing. All right, so there's the possibility that this market will push up a bit before it decides to turn over. So if we go to the 4-hour chart, you can see it's beginning to look like a positive divergence situation, but it's wishy-washy. It's not very strong, but at the same time, if it decides to go up sharply, then we are looking at a move of about 160 pips or more. And this line is actually the Fibonacci from here to here. Okay, I must have taken it somewhere lower, but anyway, this region, all right, here. So what you will do is wait, just wait. If the market decides it wants to give you a bullish signal, then you can choose to buy quickly, but you have to be aware that the overall trend is probably bearish for now. So for me, the USDCHF is I'm just going to watch it for a few days, a day or two, until I get a very certain signal, the direction it's really going to go. Now let's go to the USDJPY, and by going to the monthly chart, we have a symmetrical triangle here in an uptrend, which usually is a bullish move, but then that's on the monthly. So let's go to the weekly, and on the weekly you can see what's been going on here. All right, so if we were to draw a trend line on the weekly chart like so, you can see that the market is pushing toward that trend line. So going to the daily chart, this is what I'm seeing. We seem to be in a diagonal channel, all right, and it hasn't quite reached the upper level yet. So I'm just going to watch this one as well. You can see what's been going on, bouncing up and down and up and down and up. So two ways you can play this. Wait for this move to get to the upper channel and give you a valid signal to go short, or look for an opportunity to continue this upward move with the trend, which to me doesn't make any sense because it can just turn at any moment. All right, this trend line is very steep, and usually the market cannot support a steep trend line for long. You can see what happened here. After this sharp move down, it went up and then the price broke and came down. So overall analysis for the USDJPY, my bias is I'll want to go short, okay, because the US dollar is quite weak right now. So what I'll be looking for is a valid wave top situation, okay, and I'll do that on the 1 hour chart. So that means if I get a beautiful wave top situation here, I'm going to go short. So no matter what happens, even if the trend decides to push up toward this upper trend line, let it go up, because that will probably give me a beautiful negative divergence, which also presages a wave top situation. So either way, I'll win. All right. So just watch and wait for the USDCHF and the USDJPY. That's what I'm saying. Now let's go to the EURCHF. All right. So I believe that this is one currency pair that I marked as a must watch. My two currency pairs so far are the Euro and the Aussie. Okay, and this is the third one, and I'm going to show you why. So of course, from the monthly chart, you will not really see much. Let's not dwell on that. Weekly, this is what's going on. All right, after this prolonged move here, you can see the market is beginning to bounce around. All right, so it can actually bounce around and then go down, or bounce around and go up, but that's on the weekly, so let's not dwell too much there. But on the daily, we begin to see more definition, and I've drawn some trend lines here. Okay, so it's beginning to look like a symmetrical triangle, and if it's a symmetrical triangle, then the market bounced off of this lower bottom trend line and it's pushing up. In fact, it did that strongly here, all right, and then returned. So this is what I believe. I believe that it still has the potential to push up toward this upper trend line. Okay, so I'm keeping my eye sharply on this one. So you can see what has happened here. Here we have an incidence of positive divergence, which has pushed the market up. And usually when you see positive divergence, then a wave bottom situation is not far behind. We actually had it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 waves, and then the market came down sharply. So I'm keeping my eye on the EURCHF because I believe that this trend line will be respected and I'll get a valid wave bottom situation. So by going to the 1 hour chart, this is what I'm watching. Okay, this is a beautiful situation because when you see the MACD looking this way, when it turns around, then your signal is going to be very strong. So wait for a valid wave bottom situation here before you decide to go long. Okay, and if it doesn't, and if it chooses to break this trend line to go down, then you can go short. But for now, I believe that it has the potential to go bullish. All right, so that's the EURCHF. Now let's quickly go to the EURGBP. I haven't traded the EURGBP for a very long time. Let me just go to the monthly. So on the monthly chart, you can see that the trend is bearish. Okay, pure red here. Don't even think bullish right now, at least on the monthly. So going to the weekly chart, this is what I'm saying. And the market did a lot of zigzagging in this region, and that was why I didn't trade this pair for the longest time. But since it has resumed the downward move, because I was waiting for it to break or be supported at this region, and you can see that the market has broken through that region of support. So now it's trending strongly down. All right, so for now our bias will be to go short on the EURGBP. Okay, which also makes sense because you know that the British pound is very strong right now. So the EURGBP is the second pair here, so you can see it's going down in its favor. Now going to the daily chart, this is what we see. We have this wave top situation here, and by plotting my APAC or the profit target calculator, I have price targets going down here. So by going to the 4-hour chart, just expand the chart, so you can see how sharply this market came down. Okay, same thing as the British pound news. So but we had a good wave top situation here, number 1, number 2, number 3. So our first target is here. The market got to the first target and bounced sharply up. So by plotting our Fibonacci there, you can see that I drew the line at the 55%, not the 62 this time. But it doesn't really matter. So all you have to do is, for the EURGBP, please wait for the market to give you a valid signal. Now, two things can happen. The market, once the market's open, the price can get to this level of 0.8407 and turn around, which is better for us. But if it doesn't, then what we are looking for is a wave top situation here. So something like this. Alright, and then by drawing your trend line like so, you can wait for the break of the trend line here and go short. So this is a waiting game as well. The EURGBP is a currency pair for you to keep your eye on. You just have to wait for it to give you the valid entry trigger. All right. All right. So that's the EURGBP. So our bias is to go short on the EURGBP. Okay. Now let's go to the GBPCHF. So the GBPCHF moves in tandem with the British pound, so it's bullish. But I'm just going to quickly show you what's going on. So on the monthly chart, you can see that we've been bearish for some time. All right, for the past 5 months. Bullish. Sorry, we've been bullish. All right. So let's go to the weekly chart, and on the weekly chart, you can see our wave bottom situation here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay. And then you can see our golden cross here. I didn't plot the EMAs, but I believe that there's a cross here as well. So for now, the trend is bullish, but it's being resisted by this trend line. So let's go to the daily and see what we see. So on the daily chart, this is what's going on. Same as the British pound. The market moved sharply up and then came down. So what we're looking for is an entry point. So for you to get your entry point, go to the 4-hour chart or the 1-hour chart. And this line is, of course, the Fibonacci that I took from here to the topmost part. And you can see that's the 62. So all you need to do is just wait for a wave bottom situation, preferably on the 1-hour chart. You can even go to the 15-minute chart. Okay, but I think the 1-hour chart is okay in this situation. So you can see clearly when the MACD crosses and gives you a golden cross. And once it gives you a golden cross, do not hesitate to pull the trigger. Go long. Okay, so if it gives you a golden cross here, go long here and make sure that your stop loss is just below where you went long. All right, it doesn't have to be much. I don't think that once it gives you a golden cross on the MACD, you don't have to I don't think you need more than between 18 to 20 pips stop loss. It may not even be as much as that. All right, we have an incidence, I believe, of oh, that is sorry, that's my mistake. I think I have to do something drastic here. I have to delete some things. All right, I just wanted to show you that there was an incidence of I think positive divergence here. That is what pushed the market up sharply. So when you have an incidence of positive divergence, remember you need to see a wave bottom. So if this is the first wave of that wave bottom, then this is the second. And of course, that means that the potential for it to get down here to this region is there. So by plotting my APAC again, so you can see the 62%, and I'm just going to mark that there. Okay, so it could come as low as the 79, because usually after a divergence situation, the market likes to get to the 79%, but you know, that's just that's semantics. You just wait for a golden cross here, wait for a wave bottom somewhere in this region and go long. All right, so Going to the GBPJPY, this move I did not trade it, but I counted the pips and I nearly fainted. This is 532 pips. This made some people very wealthy last week. Okay, when I saw this move today, I nearly wept. Okay, so because of that, I'm going to keep my eye very well on the major pairs and this yen pairs as well. So I've drawn my 62% here. All right, there's no need for us. They are all moving in tandem, the British pairs. Okay, from the monthly chart, you can see our wave bottom situation. The third wave just began on the monthly chart. So for those of you who are position traders, you may want to hang on for the ride. Okay, now the weekly chart, you can see. So the beautiful thing about doing a top-down analysis is that you don't have to panic and say, oh, the move has finished, we are at a resistance point. No, yes, there's a trend line here. All right, and the market is going to respect that, but you see it has already crossed above. So and then the trend, the MACD is strongly bullish. Okay, so what you are going to do is just wait and get an entry point. All right, so there's no need for you to freak out. All right, and that's what's happening here. You can see it crossed the trend line and went up. Now it's coming back to test the trend line, so somewhere in this region. So in this particular instance, let me go to the 1 hour chart. You can see the trend line is here, and you can see my 62%. So this is the region I'm expecting the market to turn around. And once it turns around, all I have to do is just place my stop below this area. I don't have to go as low as that point. All right, just somewhere in this region, probably a stop loss of about 20-25 pips max, and you are in this trade. Okay, except news, except some calamity happens in the British Empire, I believe that the trend is still strongly bullish. Okay, so the British pairs are all worth watching, and I'm going to really keep my eye on this pair because it moves beautifully. All right, so I'm going to the next pair now, and that's the CADJPY. Now the CADJPY too is bullish. You can see I've already done my analysis, so I'm just going to quickly go to the monthly and show you what's going on. So on the monthly chart, you can see that for the past 4 months, trend has been bullish. It's been sporadic, it's been poor, but now it's going to gain momentum. Okay, so let's go to the weekly chart and see. So on the weekly chart, you can see it here. We have our wave bottom situation, wave 1, wave 2. So this wave 3 is very short, so that means that the third wave is going to be an extended wave. Okay, so that means it's the first leg of the third wave, second, now we are going third leg again. So for those of you who don't really understand Elliott waves, that's too bad, but I have a module on it. You can watch that on my channel. Okay, so just going to the daily, you can see our most recent wave bottom situation here was what I calculated to give us price target. So we are going to focus on that. Okay, let's leave all this behind. So on the daily chart, let's just concentrate on this. You can see that for the past week, it's been strongly bullish. We have this beautiful wave bottom situation. MACD is crossed and just beginning to trend strongly upward. Okay, so we have not even gotten to our first price targets yet. So the CADJPY is a good one for a bullish trade, and I marked it as a must watch as well. This is the type of trade I'm looking for when the trend is strongly bearish or bullish like this. The 62 and the 55% work beautifully for entry. All right, so by taking this point, the third wave, to the highest point where it began to retrace, you can see that I already drew the line at the 55, not the 62 this time, but it doesn't matter. 55 or 62%, that's the general region I'm expecting the market to turn around. Now the market can actually decide to turn around at the 38% as well. You can see that the MACD is still trending up here. So the best way to get into this trade is on the 1 hour chart. All right, so it's beginning to show signs as if it's respecting the 38.2%, but I believe that it's still going to push down towards this region. So either way, what you are looking for actually is a golden cross on the MACD. All right, when you get a golden cross on the MACD, the upward move has resumed. So this move is going to come down. All right, I believe it's going to get to this region. So I'm actually waiting for this one. The CADJPY pair is a must watch for me as well. So let's go to the next one, the Euro New Zealand. And Euro New Zealand, well, For now, the most current candle is bearish for the past 3 weeks now. Okay, we have a bullish a supply trend line or a demand trend line. I can't remember which one of them, so I'm just going to call it a support trend line here. All right, so but for now, let me go to the weekly so I can. Okay, so on the weekly chart you can see that the MACD has crossed and trending down strongly. So for now, your bias is to go short here. Now, of course, there's a possibility that the market will respect this area of support, so you are going to have to be careful. So for me, the Euro New Zealand is in a watch mode right now. I'm not really, except it gives me a wave bottom situation here. If it gives me a wave bottom situation on the daily and on the 4-hour, then I'm going to think of buying. But if not, if it crosses this place, then it's a sell thing. So for now, for me, the Euro New Zealand is just in a watch phase. Okay, I'm not actually thinking of trading it right now. Of course, if you go lower, you can see there's a lot of indecision going on here, and so you just have to watch and wait what happens, okay, and see what happens. I mean, so let's go to the Aussie New Zealand. Now, this is an interesting pair, and I'm going to explain why later. So by going to the monthly chart, you can see that for the past 3 months it's been bearish, but we have an area of support here, okay, and it's been strong since 2015, I think. So let's see. So definitely it's going to resist the market. So now you can see that we have a spinning top slash inverted hammer going on here. Even though the MACD has crossed and looks like it's strongly bearish, but let's just watch and wait and see if it's going to respect this area of support. Okay, so by going to the daily chart, it's beginning to look like it's giving us a valid wave bottom situation, because you can see that the MACD is beginning to show signs of a death cross. So let's go to the 4-hour chart, and on the 4-hour chart now, I actually made a recording in which I took a trade here with the intention to go long, but I was stopped out because you can see what happened. Because then I assumed this was the first wave, here was the second, this point third, and then this was the beginning of the third wave. But then sometimes you can be wrong, so I was wrong. All right, so the market stopped me out, but that's okay. I've decided to wait and see what will happen. Now, if the market gets, it's at the 62% level now of this move. So if it gives me a valid wave bottom situation here on the 1 hour, I'm going to take this trade to go long still. Or it can go as low as the 79%, which is even better, okay, and still turn around. So the Aussie New Zealand too is in a watch phase, because overall trend seems to be bearish, but we are just paying attention to this area of support. So I'm going to watch it carefully because I like this pair. Okay, I just like it. Now, if it gives me a turnaround in this region, preferably the 79%, because on the 1 hour you can see that the MACD is still trending down. So what we are looking for is a valid wave bottom and a golden cross on the MACD. So if we get those two, then we can go long. Okay, and because this is the first wave, so if this is the second and it turns somewhere in this region, you can see we have good opportunity to make some pips. From the 79% to the first target is 134 pips, so that's a good move. So keep your eye on the Aussie New Zealand, okay, and watch it on the 1 hour. So now let's go to the EURJPY. EURJPY is strongly bullish, but I'm just going to speed run you through. So from the monthly, you can see what's going on here. The market is bouncing off of an area of support. MACD is looking as if it's about to cross or give us a golden cross. And for the past 4 months, we've had a bullish situation going on here. So going to the weekly, you can see we have our wave bottom situation, golden cross, everything points to a bullish move. Okay. After this area of resistance, you can see that the upward move has begun again. MACD is trending strongly upward. So going to the daily chart, this is what's going on. Okay, MACD is crossed here and about to trend upward. The move has been bullish throughout last week. Okay, but we have this extreme inverted hammer here, so that could push the market down a bit, which is good. because if I go to the 4-hour chart, what I'm actually waiting for is a retracement of this move, and I've taken the liberty of drawing the line here. So let me just so if I take my Fibonacci retracements from here, then you can see I already drew the line. Okay, so but if we look at the daily chart and say we want to take it from, I believe, this region, let me see what that will give me. Aha, so if we decide on the daily chart we are taking it from that region, it gives us to this level. So for me, the EURJPY2 is in a watch phase, and I'm going to watch it like a hawk. All you need to do is just wait. Okay, though there's still a good move. If it decides to get to this level, then you are looking at 110 pips, and that's it. That's not something to laugh at. That is a good trade. So if you are able to get an opportunity, a wave top situation, then by all means take this trade down. Okay, even at the 62% level here, that will still give you about 56 pips. So feel free. But for me, I prefer to trade in the direction of the trend like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to watch this on the 1-hour chart and wait for a wave bottom situation and a golden cross on the MACD to go long, because that one, it's going to be stressless and my stop loss is going to be very short. All right, but anyway, when the markets open, we will see what we'll see. All right, so let's go to the next one, which is the Aussie CAD. So starting from the monthly, it's been strongly bearish, but we seem to have an something that looks like a rally. Okay, it could be short term, but by going to the weekly chart, we see more definition, and on the weekly chart, it's beginning to look like the market is showing signs of resistance in this area, consolidation. MACD is crossed and it's going up, but it's not very strong. Okay, but it has formed what looked like a symmetrical triangle. Now, a symmetrical triangle in a downtrend tells you that the trend will still go down. But this is the weekly, so let's go to the weekly daily and see what we see. So this is what's going on so far on the daily chart. Okay, and it's just bouncing up and down. So by going to the 4-hour chart, this is what I'm seeing. All right, so this line is the 62% retracement. I took it from here. I think if it respects this line and gives me a wave bottom here and a golden cross, why not? I'm going to take it to the upside. And if not, you wait for it to get to this trend line. Okay, I will be happier for the market to get to this region, because then I can take my trade with confidence. But anyway, I'm going to watch this pair and see what it gives me this week. All right, but there's no need to really rush. Australian dollar is strongly bullish right now, so there's a possibility of this market turning around here. So all you have to do is just wait for a valid wave bottom and a golden cross, and then you can go long. Okay, so this is a beautiful situation if it turns here, because this is by taking the Fibonacci here, you can see our 62% is here. So this line, obviously I took it from here. Okay, but that's not a problem. Now let's just go to the next one. So for the Aussie CAD, my bias is to go long, but I'm still going to watch and wait. I'm willing to wait for a day or two to really see what it will show me. Now the Aussie francs or the AUDCHF pair, going to the monthly chart, we seem to be at an area of congestion. Going to the weekly, same thing, looks like congestion, but we have a golden cross on the MACD. We had an incidence of positive divergence here, which, like I say, always gives you a wave bottom and then pushes the market up. So let's go to the daily chart and see. Now on the daily chart, this looks like a mess, but we actually have a wave bottom situation here. So if this is going to turn out well, the only way to turn out well is if it respects the 62% of this most recent bullish move, which I'm going to show you on the 4-hour chart, like so. So this line drawn is this Fibonacci I took from here to this point. All right, so if it gives me a wave bottom situation here, you can see that this area has been an area of activity, intense activities between buyers and sellers. So if we get a wave bottom situation here, why not? You go long. Okay, But apart from that, I would recommend just sitting on the sidelines and watching this pair. There are other pairs out there that are giving us much more better signals than this one. But because it's an Australian dollar pair, it bears watching. Okay, whatever the Australian dollar does, this is going to do as well. So I believe that we are going to get a turnaround in this region. So you can keep your eye on that as well. Now, the next pair I have here is the Aussie JPY. You can see it's strongly bullish. I'm just going to speed run you through. So for the past 4 months, it's been bullish on the monthly chart. On the weekly chart, you can see that the wave bottom situation has started already. MACD has given us a golden cross, and I believe that very soon is going to gain momentum. So going to the daily chart, this is what I'm seeing, all right, which looks almost like the Aussie CHF currency pair, all right. If we were to draw a line here, you will see that the market has been respecting this channel. Okay, so we seem to be in a channel. So the best way to trade the channel is just wait for areas of support and resistance. And so far, it seems to have bounced off of the upper level of resistance and is going down. So two scenarios here. By taking the Fibonacci from here to this point, you can see where I drew the line. So the thing is this: the market could turn in this region, which will be good, or it could go as low as this region of this trend line, which is still better for us because more pips to be had. So the Aussie JPY, watch and wait for wave bottom situation. Okay, except you want to be greedy and then you can decide to get a short move here. Well, you could still get away with it, but you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a counter trend anyway, and it will give you some pips. And who knows, I might actually decide to take a trade to the downside tomorrow or Monday if I get a good opportunity. But I think I would rather prefer to wait. Can see now this move from here to there, it's about 217. So I prefer to wait for a valid entry point and make this kind of moves. I don't want moves that I will take and my heart will be in my throat. At least not when it's very glaring that it's going to go long. Okay, so wait for a valid wave bottom situation. Okay, let's go to the next pair, which is the francs Japanese yen, or the CHFJPY. Same thing as the Aussie pairs as well. Going to the monthly, you can see here that it's been bullish for 4 months running. Weekly, we had an incidence of divergence here, and then we have a valid wave bottom situation. So the third wave has just begun. Okay, MACD is crossed and trending up, so it's beginning to gain momentum. All right. So for the yen pairs, I think your bias is just to go long for now. Just look for opportunities to buy. Don't really think of selling. Okay, even if you must sell, then just sell short and sell very fast. You can see here that the bias is to go long for now. So what we are looking for is just an entry point. So far, this most recent wave bottom on the daily, it has already gotten 3 targets out, and we have 4 more to go. So this is a good place to watch as well. This currency pair is a good place for you to camp this week. So all you have to do is just wait. This is the kind of trade I am praying for all the time. Okay, so now 2 scenarios here. The first scenario is this: the market could respect this last bullish move and give us a wave bottom in this region, like so. That is scenario 1. The second scenario is the market could give us a wave bottom based on this last longer bullish move, which is where I marked. All right, so remember, trading is about probabilities. Okay, the trend is up, so you don't have to worry about that. What you are looking for is an entry point. So as always, go to the chart or the time frame that will give you better definition. For me, on this particular currency pair, I believe that the 1 hour will do quite well. So you can see that I've already marked it. So all you have to do is just wait for the golden cross on the MACD wave bottom situation. So here or here, somewhere in this region. So once it turns around in your favor, just get in and hang on for the ride and enjoy your pips. Okay, so the CHFJPY too has been marked by me as a must watch. The next pair is the Canadian dollar, Swedish francs. I am not going to really watch this pair because it looks ugly, and I'm going to show you why. From the monthly, you can see what's going on. It's compressed. Something is going to happen soon. The market is going to break sharply up or down. So when the time comes, well, that's on the monthly chart, so it will still be a while. But you can see what's been going on the weekly. It just looks like a battle zone here, up and down and up and down. Of course, tremendous opportunity to make profits here, okay? Up and down, up and down. So going to the daily chart, this is what I'm seeing, okay? It just left this area of resistance, and you can see that there's still a lot of resistance, but it looks as if it's pushing down. Now, going to the 4-hour chart, this is why I said I'm not going to trade it, because you can see it's not giving me a particular direction right now. But if you were to push me, I would tell you that, okay, let me just wait for this trend line on the 4-hour chart to be broken. So if it's broken, then I can think of selling. If not, if it bounces and give us look, it's trading is not about trying to fight the market. It's about looking for what the market gives you. If you really pushed me, I would tell you, just leave this pair alone for now. Okay, don't bother for now until you see something specific. All right. So for now, yeah, it's going down, but you can see what's going on. If I go to the 1-hour chart, you can see it's not very defined. Okay, except if it goes to the upper level, and then you can get an opportunity to sell. Okay, or on the lower level here, if it gives me a valid signal, then I will buy. But for now, just watch it, but don't really actively think of trading it, at least for a day or two. Now let's go to the New Zealand JPY. The New Zealand JPY is I think, okay, it's the last currency pair for me to analyze today. You can see on the monthly chart for the past 4 months it's been strongly bearish, and actually this is a rally. So if we take our Fibonacci from the last rundown in price here, you can see that we're actually getting close to the 62% level. So it bears watching. All right. So maybe I should just mark that so that when we get there I can explain something. So I'm marking the 62% from the monthly. Now going to the weekly chart, this is what I'm seeing. So you can see that on the weekly chart we have our beautiful wave bottom situation here, golden cross, 1, 2, 3. So it's still bullish, but you can see that this is a region of strong support and resistance. Here it was support, here it's resistance. So definitely the market is going to respect that. All right, but from where we are to that point is still a few pips. About 95 pips, so don't be scared. You can still make something out of it. All right, so for now the trend is bullish. Okay, down. Let's go to the 4-hour chart and see. So what you will do for this is the same as the others. Okay, this must last the recent move up. You can just take the Fibonacci retracement, and you can see I already marked that. Okay, it's either there or taking it from here to this point, and then the possibility that the market can come down to this region is also there. All right, so you just have to watch and wait and see what happens. Okay, just wait for valid signal. So I'm going to keep my eye on this, but of course I'm not going to be able to trade all of them. So I think I've marked on my notebook here, I've marked about 4, and by Monday, tomorrow, I'll probably narrow it down to 2 and then 1. Okay, so probably 1 or 2 pairs. So for me, the Euro, the Aussie, the EURCHF, the AUDJPY, and let me see, AUDJPY probably, and CADJPY, and then GBPCHF. Those are the pairs I'm actually interested in. So maybe about 6 of them. Okay, and I'm still going to narrow it down based on what I see when the markets open and settle down by tomorrow when the London market opens. So that's my take on the currency pairs. So please analyze them for yourself. Of course, no man is a master of it all. Definitely I'll be wrong on some and I'll be right, but I'll be right on most of them. Okay, so if I've analyzed about say between 15 to 20 pairs, I'm not sure, definitely more than half of them I'm going to be right. Okay, so I hope that you gain something from this, and I wish you happy trading. Thank you very much.